Greetings, and in this short video presentation, we're going to get a good look at the Nmap scripting engine. One of the first things we need to do when we start working on any of these labs is to ensure that we have network connectivity between each of the devices in the lab. So we're going to start by looking at my Kali machine. My Kali machine is up, and I have done an IP or an IF config. And I can see that I have an Ethernet 0 adapter and I have a loopback adapter. I'm not concerned with the loopback adapter at this point. I'm only concerned with the Ethernet 0 adapter. And I see that I have an IP address assigned to this adapter of 192.168.145.132. The 192.168.145 portion of the IP address is the network portion. The 132 is the host IP assigned to my Kali. So that will remain unique, but the first 3 octets of the IP address will remain the same if I'm going to have any chance of network connectivity between Kali and my Windows XP or any other host on the network. So I'm going to go on over to my Windows XP target, and we're going to check the IP address over here. Now you'll notice that the network IP assigned to my Windows XP machine is also 192.168.145, and the host is unique, and it is 129. So these 2 machines will be able to see each other, and we're going to confirm this by doing a ping from my Kali over to the Windows XP. So I've typed in the ping command, and I followed that up with the IP address of my Windows XP machine, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter, and we see that I have replies coming back from my Windows XP machine telling me that it is responsive. So I know that the Kali and the Windows XP machine can see each other. Now I can break this ping by just doing a Control-C. I'm out. Alright, so now that we've confirmed that we have connectivity, we can proceed on with the lab. Now I recommend that you do this each time that you're thinking about starting a lab or working with Kali and the Windows XP machine, or Metasploitable 2, or whatever the other host might be. I would confirm that you have network connectivity before you get too far along into it, and then you start having issues with the lab failing. If your primary host is a Mac or an Apple, and you do not see an Ethernet adapter present, and all you see is the loopback, then you do not have network connectivity. You need to have an Ethernet adapter either emulated or installed onto your Mac or your Apple machine so that this lab can work. Now, if you have only a wireless adapter, that is to say all you have is the Apple AeroNet wireless adapter, that's not going to work because that is proprietary. And what that means is that Kali and VMware and VirtualBox and Windows XP are not going to recognize the adapter because they don't have a driver for it. There's not a driver for proprietary hardware that is produced by Apple that is universal. So to overcome this, what you should do is go out to your local PC parts store. Go to Best Buy or wherever you buy your computer stuff and purchase a USB to a RJ45 adapter, and make sure that you have a network cable. When you plug this in, your Apple machine or your Mac box will recognize it, and you'll be able to then have an onboard NIC adapter that you can use for the labs. Then just take the cable, plug it in here, plug the other cable into your wireless router or your modem, and you'll be working like you should be. Anytime we get into Kali and we start to use any of the tools on a regular basis, we want to make sure that those tools are updated and they are the latest packages that are available for us. So that makes no exception with Nmap. In this case, I've typed in app-get space install Nmap. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and now I'm going to just type in Y, and I'm going to hit enter again, and now the package, the latest package for Nmap, will download and install. From the terminal, we can locate the location for our Nmap scripts just by typing in locate space asterisk period NSE. I'm going to go ahead and just type in enter, and now I can see all the scripts that are currently available with Nmap. And if you need more scripts, you can go out to the Nmap site and you can download custom-made scripts by Nmap users, and we see that in other labs as we go through the course. So among the most useful scripts are the vulnerability scanning scripts, and we can locate these easily by just typing in locate space asterisk, typing in VULN asterisk period NSE. So I'm going to locate all my vulnerability scripts at this time, and here they are. These can be very useful. These can help me find scripts that I can use to look for a specific vulnerability that may be relevant to my pen test or to the victim that I'm trying to hack into. We can also locate a specific script by typing in locate, and we want to look inside of Nmap, and now we're going to pipe out the results using a grep command, and I'm looking for the MS08. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to come back and it's going to show me that yes, there is a script up inside of Nmap in the scripts folder, and it is called SMB-VULN-MS08-067.NSE. Now that I have found the location of this particular vulnerability script for MS08-067, I can tell Nmap to run it from that very location just by typing in Nmap space dash script equals. Now I've got the path to where the script is located, and I've told it the script that I want to run. And we'll go ahead and do this real quick. Now before I do this, I'm going to have to tell it the IP address of the machine or the network that I want to scan. So for this target, for this script, I have told it that I want you to scan the entire network and look for any IP address that it belongs to 192.168.145.0. And I'm telling it to look in the last octet with this /24. I'm saying the first 3 octets of this IP address are taken up for the network, so I want you to scan the last octet for any available host. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Give this a minute, it'll come back with the results. Now we see from the results that my Windows XP is showing up here, and it is vulnerable for the SMB vulnerability script. And we see that that is the case by looking right here. We see that port 445 is available. In this example, we're going to scan a single host, and all I've done is type in the IP address for the machine that was identified in the network scan that I used previously for Nmap. Now I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter, and it's going to come back up in just a second. It's going to give me the results. Now I've just confirmed that the 129 machine is vulnerable on port 445, which is the Microsoft SMB vulnerability that we're scanning for. So now that we have identified a victim, it's time to get busy trying to exploit that vulnerability. And we're going to do this using the MSF console or the Metasploit console. And I've typed in Metasploit at the Kali prompt. I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter, and this will start the service or the application for my MSF console. So as you can see, once you start the MSF console, you have to be patient and allow it to load. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of things going on here in the background. And you can see that there's a lot of exploits, a lot of payloads. There's just a lot of stuff going on. All right, so what we want to do now is we want to find that exploit that we can use against our target machine. So in our previous scan, we identified that the host 129 was vulnerable for the MS08-067 exploit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to search Metasploit, and I'm going to find that particular exploit, and then we're going to use that against the target. So I'm going to use the search command up inside of Metasploit, and I'm going to search for any package, any payload, any exploit that comes up with MS08 in its title. I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter now. And it's going to slowly check the database, and when it does, we'll come back and we'll see if it's found. So the search has concluded, and we do see that we have an exploit called SMB/MS08_067_net API. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that as I've done here, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go down here to my prompt, and I'm going to type in the word use, like that. Now I'm going to place my mouse right after that with the space, and I'm going to go to paste, and now I can use this particular exploit for this attack onto the Windows XP target. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and notice my prompt changes to let me know that the exploit has been loaded. So what you're looking for when you look and you search for an exploit is, let's back up and just kind of cover over the fundamentals just a little bit here one more time. First off, we're looking for a port. A port runs a service. So when we scan for a victim, we're trying to see what ports are open, and then we want to see if we can identify a possible exploit to run against a specific port. In this case, we wanted to run an exploit against port 445 because we know that that's a very vulnerable port for Windows XP. And we found the exploit was available up inside of Metasploit by just doing the search for MS08. Now, we got that information from Nmap, right? When we chose to run the script for MS08-067, that's what we were doing. We were trying to see if there was an exploit available on the network, and we found it, and it was available using the Windows XP target. Now, take a look where we see the exploit that we're using here. Take a look at this. It was available starting in 2008, and it has a ranking of great. And you get some more information over here about how the service is exploitable using this exploit. Now, if you want more information about MS08_067 or -067, just go to Google and type it in. That's a Microsoft security update. And you can go out there and you can find out just exactly how this SMB service is being exploited and what happens when we run this exploit. Now the next thing we have to do is type in the show options command so that we see exactly what is needed for us to run this exploit. So we type this in, and let's go over this real quick. We see that the remote host is, yes, required. That's the target IP address. And in this case, it will be the IP address for my Windows XP victim. The second thing that we need to have up and running on the victim is port 445. Is it required? Yes, that is the SMB service port. Okay, so now we're ready to start setting these parameters. So the first option that we want to set is the remote host. So I'm going to type in set our host 192.168.145.129. I'll hit enter, and that option has been set. Now another option that we can set is the IP address for the local host. In this case, that's going to be the IP address for my Kali. So I've gone ahead and I've typed in set lhost 192.168.145.132. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and that option has been set. So we've set the exploit. Now we have to look at what payloads are available inside of the exploit. So to do this, I'm going to do the show payloads, and we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to pick the correct payload for this particular attack. So the results are pretty intimidating, and we have to scroll through them until we find exactly what it is we're going to use for a payload so that we can exploit the target. And in this case, we want the Windows/metapredator/reverse_TCP payload. So I've gone ahead and highlighted that. Now I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go ahead and copy. So I'm going to use the set command, and this time we're going to set the payload. So I've typed in set space payload, and now I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste the payload that I want to use. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. We're now ready to send the payload over to Windows XP and see if we can actually gain a reverse shell. So I typed in the command that we need to execute, which is exploit. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And in just a second, we're going to come back and we should get a positive response saying that the MetaPredator session opened. And we see that we get the MetaPredator prompt. Once you see the MetaPredator prompt, that means that you are established onto the remote victim. In this case, my Windows XP machine. Okay. So just as if I was sitting physically at the Windows XP machine and I typed in CMD at the run line, I would get a command prompt. Well, for me to do this from my MetaPredator session, all I have to do is type in shell. I'm typing in shell. I'm going to hit enter, and I will be given access to the command prompt onto my Windows XP machine. Now I can do ipconfig, which is the Windows command for show me the TCP IP stack on your current network adapter, and it pops up and it shows me. So I'm actually on the victim, and anything I want to do here, I can do it through the MetaPredator. Now this is how we gain access. This is one way we gain access, but it's also how we take over the machine and we gain access into the administrative areas of the machine, whether it's Windows XP, Windows 7, 2003 server, whatever it is. It makes no difference. So as we go through the course and we go through more of these labs, we will be looking a lot more at MetaPredator and all of the wonderful commands and things that we can do using a reverse shell. Okay, that's all I got for this short video presentation. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact your instructor, and I hope to see you in my next video.